There's a new film out in the cinema, which is called It Ends With Us, and it stars Blake Lively. However, this press tour has taken a bit of a nosedive for her PR.
We're going through these cycles where it's just people have to be the internet's punching bag. At the moment, it's Blake's turn.
Sharjah-based Barjeel Art Foundation is showcasing at SOAS Gallery. The exhibition is dealing with the theme of boundaries and the accessibility of art in the Sawana region.
London is very much going through this Middle Eastern cultural welcoming.
The Edinburgh Fringe, for anyone who doesn't know, is the biggest comedy and creative arts festival in the world.
The bizarreness of this is kind of like an explosion of comedy and culture in Edinburgh every year. It's almost impossible to get an Airbnb or a hotel room.
So the whole city's a stage.
Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about when a press tour takes a nosedive.
Looking at Arab artists exhibiting in London.
And who to watch at this year's Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
This is Culture Bites. I'm Enas Refaei.
I'm Farah Andrews.
And I'm Maan Jalal. Hi.
Hello everyone.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also good.
I'm feeling like this summer has been the weather has actually been quite all right.
Yeah. At night I can walk and it's not
it's
not torture.
I'm enjoying the weather at the moment.
Yeah.
I went for a pool day at the weekend. It was positively doable.
For how many hours?
Morning, from 9 till maybe midday.
Yeah, because after that it will be a bit hellish, I assume.
I don't want to talk about my pool day because whenever I do and I say I listen to music at the pool, you judge me.
It's because you listen to it out loud.
Wait, are you one of those people that has a speaker?
She is.
Maybe.
She's basically she's a walking boombox.
It's a public space. We all,
I listen to very calm music.
I'm gonna send you a list of social expectations, and one of them is don't listen to things out loud.
Talking of social expectations, let's go on to our first topic of today that I'm really excited to talk about because we've all been entering internet holes over this. Rabbit holes, which is, there's a new film out in the cinema, which I saw this weekend, which is called It Ends With Us, and it stars Blake Lively, who's really famous. She is the wife of Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
And they have a very good repertoire online. But however, this press tour has taken a bit of a nosedive for her PR.
So it's a lot of people have had a lot of things to say. Maan and I have had a lot of things to send each other. There's a lot being said about this press tour. I think, so kind of historically, like you say about Blake and Ryan, people were very positive about them.
Mm-hmm.
And so now for kind of among the first times ever, there's a little bit of internet backlash being pointed in the direction of primarily Blake Lively. Should we do some take it back, full context?
I think we should take it back.
Do you want to take the lead?
Sure. So basically, Ends With Us is a film based on the Colin Hoover book, which is very popular, which is sort of a love story, but also deals with the very serious topic of domestic violence, or DV. And the press tour of the film, so the film stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, I think I'm pronouncing that name, who's also the director. Yeah. And so people noticed on the press tour that they're never together on the red carpet. And also that whenever interviewed, Blake Lively never really mentions how she worked with the director/actor in their scenes together. And on this flip side, he's been very, positive about the experience, and he says a lot of positive things about Blake. So fans started to stipulate what's going on, why aren't they together, what's happening, and there's been all this speculation and stories coming out that they just didn't get along, to put it mildly.
That's fine. People don't always get on.
They don't have to always get on.
Yes.
But the other layer of that from there is now people are dredging up old interviews, old stories, micro zooming into things that Blake has said during this press tour and kind of avoiding the really, serious topic of DV and focusing more on what she's wearing or her hair, her new hairline, or the jokes about, her and Ryan. And people got really annoyed that she kind of said that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, rewrote a scene in the movie, and he's officially not really part of the film. And so a lot of people are basically coming for her.
The rumor mill is on fire.
Yeah.
I think, so the things that are extremely valid. This is a film, like, I don't even think it really is like a romantic film. It's you've seen, I've not watched it yet.
Yeah, so I think everyone should know that when you are watching the press tour, Blake Lively is in all this amazing, like really embellished floral dresses, and she looks incredibly glamorous. I kind of am liking it to the Barbie movie, where you had, you know, your lead character constantly wearing like very Barbie themed clothes, and now we have Blake in all these floral themed clothes because the main character of the film and the story is a florist.
Yeah. So Lily Bloom. It's all very on the nose.
Lily Blossom Bloom.
Lily Blossom Bloom. It is a joke in the film as well. But like, yeah, so it's all based around this central character called Lily Bloom who has a florist shop. And they've taken that as part of the PR drive for the film.
That's Blake's whole PR drive for the film.
However, the film is about domestic violence.
Yeah.
So having this kind of like juxtaposition of very ultra glamorous Blake Lively in bedazzling dresses, like with lots of sequins, with flowers.
And talking about it as, you know, wear your florals when you go watch this movie.
That's why, so yeah, there's like this, so if we're like, obviously it's very easy to edit any series, like what we were talking about the other day, it's very easy to edit as many clips together to make your point, right? So, but there's Justin Baldoni, who is in every interview, he brings it back to domestic violence, he brings it back to female victims, and there is like a bit of an air of preparation. He's definitely had what he's saying checked over by a publicist. I say definitely, like I interpret it as it's all very prepared and it's a bit like answers out of the box, but at least he's talking about it. Whereas Blake Lively I can't pretend to have watched every single clip about her,
but you've watched a lot.
Every clip of her promoting this film, but in the majority of them, she completely avoids it. She completely avoids the topic of domestic violence. And there's this one super, super jarring clip where she sits there and she goes, "Ends with us there this weekend. Grab your girls, grab your florals, go watch it." No.
Yeah.
No, that's not the right tone.
That's not the right tone.
Yeah,
it's not the time for her to be promoting her alcohol-free drinks range like Betty Buzz or something. And it's not the time for her to be promoting Blake Brown, her hair care range. Because sure, I think it's a character trait of Lily that she has really good hair and Blake has really good hair. So sure, like, yeah, you use your nice shampoo that you probably didn't actually have that much to do with developing. And she's promoting that, and it's like, no, you're missing the point here.
The point. And I think that's something that like the internet's gone wild for.
Yeah.
Is the fact that we have this kind of like hyperfixation now on her and like the mishaps that she's doing around on this press tour. And she's completely avoiding, or it seems like she's completely avoiding, the huge topic which the film is actually about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not playing devil's advocate here, but the problem really is that the source material, the book itself, has also come into question as a book that actually has been accused of romanticizing this really serious issue of DV. And even the promotion and the marketing of the book, like Colleen Hoover released like coloring books, floral coloring books, and like stuff like that. So from the get-go, there's been kind of issues to do with the book. And I think Justin Baldoni, to his credit, saw the potential for the book once it would be adapted to something that can talk about this topic in a very serious way. And I think that's why people are even more frustrated, because the book in its foundations has something to say, you know, and that because of the packaging and the PR, and also apparently Blake Lively's creative input in the film was apparently the music and the clothes. And a lot of people have a lot of criticism about this because the character, Lily Blossom Bloom, wears a lot of like high-end luxury brands like Louboutins and, you know, Balenciaga bags or Birkin bags. And there are even some shots where you're zooming into these high luxury items. And people are finding it, like you say, perfect word, jarring. Like, how does this match with this really serious topic?
I think like there can still be like luxury elements. Like there's not, like if a woman's carrying a Birkin, that doesn't mean she's not potential to get abuse, but it's like, it's more of like, if that's I think it's completely off focus when that's all she's talking about.
Exactly.
Don't talk to us about your lovely floral outfit. Talk to us about like the profound message of the film, or speak about both.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's it. So I did see the film.
Oh yeah, what did you
I think of it? Okay. So I kind of left the cinema feeling a bit like, ugh, that's an awkward watch. And I think, again, going back to this press tour, and maybe I on purpose didn't try and read any reviews because I'd heard that it kind of, you know, there was mixed, it was a mixed bag. So whenever I see there's been a bit of a mixed bag of reviews, I'm not straight away online trying to see anything because I don't want it to affect my judgment of the film. So I came out of the film just feeling like the character that is Lily Bloom was kind of like, she didn't feel like authentic. She didn't feel authentic to like what was happening. And I think that there's definitely moments where I can see that Justin Baldoni as the director has tried to kind of leave this ambiguous space around how she's feeling. But I didn't feel like connected to the actual string of events that led us to the end scene.
I've not seen the film yet, but from an outsider to the film, having watched the trailer and watched a lot of commentary about it, this is, I mean it's a compliment based on like my film taste, but it looks quite Hallmark. Like, and you, from the trailer, you don't really expect it to be that heavy. And so I was talking to somebody at the weekend who said that she went to go see the film with her sister, and they were just expecting to go for like a grab your girls, grab your florals, come and watch this film. They were expecting a chick flick and like a fun film day out. And the sister has been affected by an abusive partner in the past. And she, and like, I think it's a massively overused word, but was incredibly triggered by it because that just it was completely not packaged what she was expecting. And then that's where like, obviously there's so much conversation about it on the internet so people can find it. But if you should think like, if you're going to watch a trailer, you should get a bit of a sense of what you're going in for, right?
Yeah.
And Enas, but you don't, not everyone reads every review and to know what they're going in for. And I think we should be able to like, be confronted by things that make us feel uncomfortable, but to be like triggered and kind of taken back to like a very dark time without preparation or just because of the marketing, that's where it becomes a bit irresponsible.
I would definitely describe the film as being both triggering and cringy.
Oh,
like
what a line.
So
what a combination.
Yeah, you guys read the book, right?
No, I haven't read the book.
Have you read the book?
No, she's just not up my street at all.
Okay, because one of my friends had read the book and she said that in the book she found the main character quite cringy. And actually, to me, I was definitely like cringed out.
Are you meant to be cringe, or is it not?
I don't know, because again, like I don't feel like I got the authentic character of who Lily Bloom was meant to be.
That's what I mean when I think it's like quite Hallmark.
Yes.
Hallmark is quite 2D, right? In a way that's
generic.
I love.
Yeah. Irish Wish, hello.
Best one blushed yet. But yeah, it's like it doesn't kind of really dive in. The other thing I do want to say though is I feel like in internet culture, we're going through these cycles where it's just people have to be the punching bag, the internet's punching bag. And it feels like at the moment it's Blake's turn and it feels like it's almost always women. And like in like the past like 18 months, we've seen like it happen to Olivia Wilde. We've seen it happen to J-Lo. I know that I was part of that.
Yeah, so was I.
Both of you, honestly.
It's happening now to Blake, and that's just like 3 off the top of my head. Like it's just like we go in these cycles of people put one foot wrong and then there's just this deep dive into everything they've ever done, because no one's ever said that Blake's perfect, right? No one's ever said Blake's in charge of handling how people feel about triggering things in their past. Like she is an actress who wanted to turn up for a press tour wearing flowery things, which I'm not 100% on board with, but that's who she is. And that's like the cycle she's going through. And now it's like people are just deep diving into every interview she's ever done in her 15 plus year career. And it's like, oh, you're a bit rude to that journalist, which obviously I don't support because we're all journalists. You shouldn't be rude to journalists. Don't be rude to us. And then like, oh, here's photos of her on set with Leighton Meester on Gossip Girl. They look quite tense.
Yeah.
Are they falling out? Was she horrible on set of Gossip Girl? Is she a mean
Conspiracy theories.
And it just, it's like it unravels because but the internet well, I mean, it's an archive of everything we've ever done, right?
Yeah. I think, though, that all of that, again, not to play devil's advocate, but I think all of that in a bigger sense comes from the general mainstream audience frustration with this idealizing of celebrities and now being able to see through the tactics that celebrities use to basically become an Amazon by themselves. They're kind of the epitome of what you call, I think that the term is empty billboard, where they basically try and never have a controversial opinion about anything happening right now in order to have mass appeal, and so they can sell whatever they want and be like brand ambassadors for everything. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not everything that they own.
Everything that they own. So there's nothing wrong with that if that's the kind of celebrity you want. Even J-Lo's like that, right? She has she doesn't really have an opinion about anything that's happening in the world right now, whether it's social or political or economical. It's more about me as a brand. And I think that's fine if you want to be in that space, but then don't take up the space of something important and serious like DV and then decide not to talk about that, but then present your brands and what you're doing. I think audiences are now so savvy online and they see right through that and they see it as fake. And especially when it comes to couples, like Jada and Will have had that, J-Lo and Ben and J-Lo and A-Rod and Emily to a degree, Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. At some point they were getting to that, but then they kind of moved away. So I think audiences...
Do you think it's when they package themselves as like everything about us is perfect?
Yes.
And then people just like, oh no,
you're not perfect.
Just start
and
picking
you start
away.
To see through it.
Like Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel.
It's not only everything about us is perfect. Everything about us is perfect. Buy this to be perfect like that, like us. I think that's where it tips people over. When I think about couples like Eva Mendes and Ryan Gosling, we never see them together. We have no idea what they're like on the red carpet
and
together.
they do get a bit of flack for that. Then they do mostly just kind of lay low.
Yeah.
Like at the Oscars, she didn't walk the red carpet with him. She was backstage.
Yeah. And then when I think
celebrating
of...
him, which is quite nice. Like that was his moment.
Yeah. Or even Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin. Sure, they didn't stay together, but I think of them as a couple that did it right. Like they weren't... Even though Gwyneth Paltrow has a lifestyle brand and she's kind of pushing herself in a way to sell something, but we didn't feel duped by them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felt
and like
gooped.
Oh,
yeah.
We definitely have been gooped.
We've been gooped, but not duped. Big difference.
Yeah, it's a lot. When it's kind of like these like saturine, everything about us is perfect. We are a living, eating, breathing Ken and Barbie. And then it's like, well, no, people see through it. Like the internet can be a bit more real now.
Yeah. I think we are just in general just moving away from this culture as well of like Instagram perfection.
Yeah.
The Kardashians, they're not cool.
They're having a flop era with the Kardashians.
We're having a brat summer. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about this.
We do.
We all know about this. So, the internet has turned its back on that kind of like image of perfection and it's just slowly moving into maybe more of a rock and roll era, which I am here for. So I'm happy about it.
That's not to say though that they owe us enormous insight into their life.
No, not at all.
They can keep that as guarded and private and their business because I truly believe that. But I think when they try and just offer up this like unachievable perfection, that's what people start to see through. And they're like, no, stop selling us a lie and also a non-alcoholic soft drink.
I have a question.
Please.
So do you think this whole press tour thing that's happened, this whole debacle, drama, has helped the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll say yes because I wanted to watch a movie this weekend, but I couldn't get a ticket anywhere.
What?
Yeah, it was booked everywhere.
How did you get such a coveted ticket?
How did you get? Who do you know?
Oh, who do I know? Well, first of all, I live in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, so it's different. Maybe in Dubai it was fully...
I went to a 3 p.m. showing on a Friday because I wasn't working on Friday.
Oh, what a lovely time of day.
It was I came out of the cinema refreshed.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually, the film has not been hit by this. It's earned 50 million.
Ooh, wow, okay.
Since its release at the weekend.
It's a little bit like the Don't You Worry, Darling effect.
Yeah.
Like people weren't going to go.
They weren't.
That.
It wasn't going to be a critically acclaimed nothing, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. So moving on, this is something that's happening close to my heart. We have a showcase at SOAS. Maan, why don't you tell us more?
So Sharjah-based Barjeel Art Foundation is showcasing at SOAS Gallery, Has anyone been to SOAS before?
Let's not talk. Come on. We know it's me.
So SOAS is a university in London. In case you don't know, they have a gallery, and Barjeel Art Foundation is having an exhibition there that's been curated by SOAS students. So the exhibition is dealing with the theme of boundaries and accessibility of art in the Sawana region, which is the Southwest Asian North African region. So it's a very cool show that's happening now in London. You didn't catch it when you were there.
I didn't catch it when I was there. I wish I knew about it.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to this podcast.
You didn't?
Before I went.
No.
I mean, we hadn't recorded it then, so don't worry.
But it has some really cool artists showing, like Hayef Kahraman, who is an Iraqi Kurdish painter who I interviewed last year when she had a show in the Third Line, as well as Manal Doyan, who's a Saudi artist, and who else?
Ahmed Matter.
Yes, Ahmed Matter. He's a big deal. Actually, he has a solo exhibition right now, a mid-retrospective at Christie's in London right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
very
cool.
connected.
So London is very much going through this Middle Eastern cultural welcoming.
Moment.
Because also in Sotheby's, they have...
You're running ahead.
Yeah,
we need to stay on Hudood for a moment.
Yeah.
Let's just stay on. So it's in partnership as well with UAE's Ministry of Culture and Youth and the Barjeel Art Foundation.
Yeah, so it's being, definitely like spearheaded by Barjeel. And what's really nice is, so Sultan Al-Qasimi and of the Barjeel Art Foundation kind of was lecturing and like speaking at SOAS and working with the students. And then he was going to curate an exhibition, but then it kind of became quite apparent that the students could be very hands-on with it. And so they have taken the lead. They've like interviewed artists, worked with artists to kind of like build this exhibition that kind of really relates to, the theme of
boundaries.
Hudood, which using Arabic word of the week.
Oh, yeah. I love how you just said it. I was like, oh, yeah, Hudood, boundaries.
Which, and well, we said border is what it means, but boundaries is obviously the name of the exhibition.
Yeah, some of these words as well, the Arabic words, they can mean more than one thing. But I think it's really cool that this is a student-led initiative or student-led curatorial project, because it actually adds a different dynamic in the sense that sometimes curators sort of know exactly what they're going to, exactly the path that they should take, but a student will come with like a fresh perspective to a show. So if you're in London, you should definitely check it out.
Amazing. And you mentioned something else. So Sotheby's is also hosting something.
And I guess the reason why I jumped on that is because I wrote an article about it and I'm very excited. So
it's in front of mind.
Yeah, front of mind. So Sotheby's are also having a complete Middle East takeover called Hafla, which means celebration or party in Arabic. And there's like 4 facets to the show. One is a focus on modern art from Saudi Arabia. And in that section, the art is sectioned off in 3 sections. So it's like traditional or older modern art, and then modern Saudi art from the 1980s, and then contemporary modern art. So you get sort of like an overview of Saudi artists over the past like 40 decades or something. And then you have a section which is just on Islamic calligraphy, which is always very cool. And there's a section just on high-end luxury bags as well, showing Saudi that are influenced by the art of Saudi Arabia as well. So yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Something that we didn't mention about Hudood is that it's all contemporary art.
Oh, cool.
So everything's been created post 1990. So it's like very present. I guess that is why it makes so much sense to the students as well, because so much of it would have been created within their lifetime. The students now would have been born like 2000, or like 2002, 3, 4, 5. But they'll really like resonate and like connect to the art, and then like the fact there's contemporary pieces in the Sotheby show is like it's like artists that are living, working, creating now are being spotlit as well. It's not just kind of like historical greats.
So really, if you're in London right now, you're going to get such a great slice of Arab art from across time, across genres. You're going to get like so much diverse work from, like I said, like modern masters from Khamsin, which is part of Hafla, which is happening in Sotheby's. You also get to see a mid-retrospective of Ahmed Matar at Christie's, and then what's Hudood, which is happening at the SOAS Gallery with Barjeel Art Foundation, which is contemporary Arab art, like you said. You're really lucky if you're in London right now. You get a real good taste and flavor of Arab art across the board.
Such a good cross-section.
Yeah,
Tell me one thing with the Sotheby's. I think I know the answer to this, but they're pieces that are sold. They're for sale. People can buy them.
Some of them are, depends on which section. So like the Islamic calligraphy section is from a collection of, like a family collection. So they're not for sale, they're on display. So some I think are going for auction and some are not. So because it's a combination of different sections. So yeah, but still it's an opportunity to see some of these works that may not go up for sale or may go back into the collection and never be shown to the public as well.
I love going to art galleries when the weather is like as it is as well. It's like a good thing to do.
For sure.
So like if you're not in London and you are in the UAE, try and find an art gallery and get into some air-conditioned fun.
Yeah.
We're staying in the UK for our third topic.
Yes.
This was quite an exciting when I saw this on the running order because I'm a big fan of the Edinburgh Fringe.
So am I.
If you guys both, I know you've been. Have you been?
Yes.
You sure that you've been? Yeah, okay.
Why do you say it like that?
Because you're like a film girl.
Yeah. It's not film, it's mainly comedy.
That's your vibe.
So the Edinburgh Fringe, for anyone who doesn't know, is the biggest comedy and creative arts festival in the world. Mm-hmm. It's huge. It takes over the city of Edinburgh, the Scottish capital, for pretty much all of August. And it's it's just...
You should say a hoot.
Oh, it's a complete hoot. And it's brilliant. When you're there, you've not been, have you?
I've not been, no, not yet.
So like every corner of the city, I do not exaggerate, becomes a venue. You walk into cafes and they have like little table setups and that can be a venue. And there are shows that are completely free to go and watch that you just do a donation when you're leaving if you can, going up to like household name comedians and actors that are performing, and then you're kind of paying a bit more, but it's all pretty affordable. Like even the quite big names are kind of selling for like £30. It's about 120 dirhams. So tickets aren't inaccessible.
So question, it's not just stand-up comedy, it's across the board, isn't it?
So many different things. It's musicals. There are also things that aren't necessarily like comedy-led, but there are musicals, music shows, acrobatics. There's just so much to be seen. And like Farah said, like the beauty of it is also finding these obscure venues. Like maybe you're in a wood, or maybe the venue is actually a public toilet. Like the bizarreness of this is kind of like an explosion of comedy and culture in Edinburgh every year. It's almost impossible to get an Airbnb or a hotel room.
So the whole city's a stage.
The whole city
and
becomes
then,
a stage.
Because on paper it's a good time of year weather-wise. I've been there for easily some of the worst weather ever. It's like sitting outside like an outside bar and it's like genuinely torrential, like we're never leaving. But the whole city becomes like a very vibrant venue. Like you'll be sitting there and then there's a silent disco that comes past and it's like the most tame thing in the world, that people are just wearing headphones, walking down the street, doing a walking tour of Edinburgh and like dancing to ABBA. What a great time.
So I think the randomness is amazing, but it's been around since 1947. So it started as an actual Fringe festival to the Edinburgh Festival, which was like this quite snooty, like classical music festival, which now the Fringe has completely overtaken.
So that still runs, and there's like it's like a very highbrow arts festival where you can go and see kind of like opera and ballet.
Right.
The military tattoo, which is like a military performance, like band, and that's up at the castle. That's amazing. But then they're all kind of like quite straight-laced, and then it's a lot of the Fringe is very experimental, early career.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
I have a friend performing next year. I'm really excited.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. See my friend Poppy.
Well, I did write a story about the really popular TV shows that came from Fringe.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. Like we all know Baby Reindeer.
Yep.
That came from Fringe. Fleabag.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Mr. Bean started.
Neither did I.
Started with Richard Curtis and Rowan Atkins. They did it. Richard Curtis is the writer of Four Weddings and a Funeral and Love Actually. They did Mr. Bean together at Fringe. And then Miranda, that UK sitcom for Fringe, and Montbouche.
Mighty Boosh.
Mighty Boosh, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, that was from...
seminal for me in my early 20s.
Such an era.
And one more of the League of Gentlemen. That also started at Fringe, which I thought was so interesting.
It's very Brit-centric, but it is definitely where so many comics and actors in particular, and then just performers, they get a chance to kind of come and like run these shows. It's not cheap for them to run them. They have to like live and exist in Edinburgh for a month, when Edinburgh is more expensive to be than like anywhere else in the UK. And people kind of talk about their Edinburgh stints like it's a bit of a rite of passage, but also they're a bit traumatized by them. But they also are getting the opportunity to perform for like a completely enormous just demographic of people that are so engaged with comedy and performance. So,
and industry people as well. So we don't know who's performing right now. That might be the next Baby Reindeer, the next Mr. Bean.
Very much
we
so.
have some people from this region
who
are performing, which is really exciting. I think we should all wish them like the best of luck in their careers, because it's such a marker in your career to get to the Fringe Festival.
You've interviewed a couple, right?
I interviewed one, Sunil Mashari, who is it's a really cool story. So he's a Dubai-based comedian, but he only started comedy a year ago. So he was sitting at home and he came across an Instagram ad to do like a comedy class, and he's always been interested in comedy, and he's like, I'll just give it a go.
Would you be brave enough?
Yeah, he was literally brave enough.
Would you be brave enough?
No, me? No, absolutely not. I cringe out from like, what is that point when you have to do things on the spot?
Improv?
Yes, I could not, never.
Really? I think I would quite like to.
Yes. You could do improv, I think.
You could as well.
I think I'd still find it cringe, but I would get into it, obviously.
Yeah. Maybe we should do it.
Should we go to an improv class?
Watch
as this becomes a lot more dynamic.
I'm in a box. I'm out of box. So he's going to be there with his debut at the festival.
He's performing with two other Dubai comedians on two different shows. So one show is called Dark Times with Sunny Moments. So he's doing that with Sadiq Sabwallah, and they're each doing their stand-up. In one section, each does a stand-up, and then at the end, the third section, they do a stand-up thing together that's very audience involved. So that's cool. And then he also has a podcast called All My Friends Are Jealous with another Dubai-based, great name, right?
That is a good name.
Yeah, with another Dubai-based comedian called Sahar Ali. So they're doing their podcast live at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, as well as bringing on other guest comedians at the festival and doing also audience interaction.
That's really very exciting. Cool. Yeah, and I hope like people go and see it and get like a different maybe version of this region.
Yes,
from these comedians that are like bringing something lighthearted out of the Middle East.
Yeah,
to Edinburgh.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I also spoke to Mina Lichuni, who is a Dubai-based comedian here, who's married to Ali Sayed, who's an Emirati comedian that a lot of people know, and she performed at Fringe last year, and she was saying that she was talking about how important it is for anybody in the UAE or in the Middle East to try, and if they're a comedian, to try and make it to Fringe at some point, because not only is it a great experience and a great sort of platform for your career, but it's also really important to take Middle Eastern humor and narratives here to such a global platform. So I think that was quite interesting.
That's really important. I think we all have almost like a duty at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why we did this.
Yes.
It's to try and talk about culture in this region for people who speak English.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Which feels like a good time to like spotlight a few more of the acts from the region that are performing at the Fringe. So there's a performance piece called A Knock on the Roof by Kaula Ibrahim, which is a solo show about Mariam practicing how far she can run and what she can carry in case of a knock on the roof, which reflects the lives of people in Gaza today. So that's a performance art piece, which sounds pretty like deep, but also like a kind of maybe accessible way of kind of going in and getting a bit of a visual understanding of what's happening.
That gave me shivers.
And another show that I'm going to absolutely butcher the title of, so can either of you help me?
Nazar?
Nebchin
by Isabel Farah, I'm going to say that name, who is a stand-up show by a British Lebanese comedian set in ancient Babylon. So it's like a alternative history weave with a love story and pop culture and comedy. I want to see that.
Amazing.
I want to see that.
Oh, the name must be like a combination of these things. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not an Arab word. So yeah.
And then the third one, Almost Legal Alien by Mustafa Al-Ghiyadi.
Yes.
A Libyan comedian who navigates the cultural differences he faces while trying to fit into European life.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, like 3 shows that if I was in Edinburgh right now, I would go see. My mum and dad are in Edinburgh right now. I'm going to send them.
Yes.
So listen, if you listen to this podcast, go watch It Ends With Us. and then catch a flight to London and watch Hafla, go to Hudood, and go to Christie's, and then go to Edinburgh.
What a busy week.
What a busy week. And then watch all these shows. And then, comment back, report to us how it was, and thank us.
Or if anyone wants to just send us to do that, that's an itinerary that I'm willing.
Yeah, actually, hang on. Yeah.
I would love to go and see all of it. Well, that's amazing.
Okay.
So should we go into
our recos?
Our actual personal
recommendations.
Our personal recommendations for
what we've consumed this week.
What have we consumed this week?
Shall we start with you? Because you were recovering from jet lag. So I'm sure you watched something that really helped with that.
Well, yeah, I think being a journalist, we deal with really tough subjects. This is my excuse anyway.
I'm absolutely obsessed with this.
Listen, you don't need an excuse with us. Okay, it's a safe space.
We deal with really difficult subjects, and I think that people often think that I go home and then I just watch the news again. Where I spend my life watching the news, reading the news, listening to the news.
Is that what you think people think?
I think people think that I'm really highbrow.
Yeah.
I'm so highbrow. But I have been indulging in Love is Blind, the UK series. So for those of you, I think it's on the top list for the most watched thing at the moment in the UAE.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I saw one episode. It's excellent.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It goes back, every series goes back to is love blind? Can it be blind? Could you fall in love without seeing someone is the premise of the show. And for the first time ever, they've taken it to the UK.
And they have some Arab representation. There's a Moroccan
There is
British
a Moroccan,
woman.
a Muslim.
Yeah.
And there's also
Muslim woman.
a guy that used to live here. He's English, but he used to live here.
Wow.
I can't remember that.
Everywhere.
Bandari?
Yeah, that's great.
I can't remember that line. But anyway.
I know that for friends.
I have a habit of scrolling on my phone while I watch it.
It's definitely film. It's a show that you can have on in the background on your phone.
Let's be real here. But it's great. Really good fun. If you want to just unwind, watch it, and discover that no, I don't think love is blind.
Love isn't blind.
Yeah.
I've watched
you
half
need
an
to see who you are falling in love with.
The people seem more down to earth.
They do.
Dare I say?
Yes, I think they do, but they all still look like supermodels.
Oh yeah.
So it's is love blind? Oh, you're attractive. I'm attractive. Woo.
Is love blind? Yes, because I can trust a TV show is only going to cast hot people.
Yeah. Apparently, all the men are over 6 foot. Great.
Yeah.
It's a good recommendation.
Yeah. What's your recommendation?
Mine is a restaurant. Yay. I went to the Guild in Dubai at the weekend, and they have just started a new Saturday lunch. So it's a non-brunch alternative to just basically just a very nice lunch. But the thing I liked the most about it, apart from the food, which was extraordinary, I had oysters and a crab pasta.
Yum.
So off my street. They had a jazz band. So
nice.
It just made the atmosphere all day was just, you kind of forget, I don't know, because we don't really walk around Dubai and then just stumble into somewhere because we happened upon it and it seemed like a good vibe. When you're in London or in New York, you walk past somewhere, you're the music in there sounds amazing. I'm going to go in.
Yeah.
And I kind of do miss that at times here. But I was just very grateful for just kind of sitting in this, it's a very, have you been to the Guild?
Yes.
No, I need to go.
It's a nice vibe.
It's stunning. It's got it's a kind of bistro vibe, but it's got so much shrubbery.
Yeah.
It feels like a bit of a jungle.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
And there's a part of the bar that's a kind of conservatory, and then there's a big rock. It's a huge room, but it's made into quite a lot of little small rooms to make it quite intimate still.
Yeah.
And then just sitting there and having good company and then very, very good music all day. I was thrilled.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
It's in
We'll go.
ICD Brookfield, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's in DIFC in ICD Brookfield and next door to the Arts Club.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of good part of town.
Yeah.
What about you, Maan? What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is Emily in Paris. I'm sure
Keep it highbrow.
Keeping it highbrow. So that came out on Friday. It's the 4th season of Emily in Paris.
How much have you
4
watched?
seasons.
Yeah.
They've made 4 seasons of this show.
Of this brilliant show by Darren Star, who is the man behind Sex and the City. 4 seasons. First part is out, first 5 episodes, and then the next 5 episodes.
Have you watched all 5?
I haven't watched all 5. I've watched the first 1.5. It's been a busy week, guys. But it's a really, it is a show that you watch in the background. It's frivolous, it's fun, it's silly. It kind of touches upon important kind of modern dating, modern love issues, but not too deep. It's just a fun watch. and not to be taken too serious, to be honest. And like, is Emily insufferable? A little bit, she's, just like a Carrie Bradshaw, insufferable, yes, but, fun to watch. So definitely if you want something in the background to fill your time with, watch 100%.
Have you watched any of it?
I watched the first season because of the wardrobe.
Look, the wardrobe is excellent.
That's it.
It is on par.
I could watch like Sex and the City, the whole thing again, just for the wardrobe.
Just, yeah.
There shows that you can grab your florals
Patricia
and your
Fields,
girls
Sex
for.
and the City.
Exactly. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening or watching.
And if you like this episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting app.
And don't forget to tell your friends and family about us and follow us on social media.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.